So I'm originally from Montana. Yes, there are more than just cow and deer there. There's actually people. I didn't stay there for very long. I grew up with a father who was an Air Force officer, so I grew up all over the place. I grew up in 13 different states, 2 different countries. Made for an interesting childhood and made it so that I was always the new kid, which has paid off for me career-wise because it helps me fit in with new people and helps me fit in new circumstances. I finally ended up in O'Fallon, Illinois for high school, which is just outside of St. Louis. Like I said, I was always a new kid, so I was heavily involved with sports. I was a 3-sport athlete. I played soccer, wrestling, and did track. And I also was busy with the Boy Scouts all through high school. I ended up earning my Eagle Scout award before I graduated my senior year. Along with sports and Boy Scouts, I also did work. I worked at a donut shop in the morning before school 2 or 3 times a week, and I worked as a cashier in the afternoons and on the weekends at a grocery store. Kept me pretty busy, but it also helped me meet new people and helped me, learn my community and be involved. During the summers, I didn't take much of a break. I worked as a lifeguard at Scott Air Force Base. I was actually the lifeguard manager. I worked over 40 hours a week during the summer, managing about 25 people and anywhere between 1 and 3 pools, depending on the week. And that was a good time, but it was definitely my first involvement with management and first involvement with leading other people in a business environment. So that was my introduction to it. Doing all this stuff led me to get into the college of my choice and got me an Army ROTC scholarship. With that scholarship, it guaranteed me a job in the Army after I got out, so I was able to study what I wanted to, which ended up being political science. Studied that all 4 years I was there, along with doing ROTC. I got a minor in military science to go along with my major. I was involved with ROTC, different aspects of that, leadership roles. I was a company first sergeant for a while, so I was basically in charge of all the freshmen, which was not a whole lot of fun. I also did some physical activities with them. I did Ranger Challenge, which is basically a team event where you go through obstacles and you go through. Basically, it's a camping expedition for a weekend that you do physical events at. Also did the rifle team, which kept me busy. And then I also worked. I was a driver for Pizza Hut for a while. I worked as a technician at a vet office. Sounds fun, but it was really mostly just cleaning up after the animals and cleaning up after the vet. But it was a good experience to have. During this time, I stayed out active with the Boy Scouts. I stayed fairly close to home for school, so I was able to stay involved with the same group that I was involved with during high school, which was nice. Once I commissioned in the Army in 2009 as a field artillery officer, I've been stationed kind of all over the place, from Alaska to Oklahoma to Kentucky. It's been great. The pinnacle of my career was being a battery commander. I did that at Fort Sill for 17 months. I was in charge of the daily lives of soldiers, and it was great. That's what every young officer comes in the Army to do, is to lead soldiers, and that's what I got to do. After that, my goals were met, and that's what kind of led me to leaving the Army. I'm at that point in the Army where I know it'll be another 8 or 9 years before I get put in a leadership position again. And I know from here on out I'll pretty much be on staff. And, the opposite of that's in the corporate world, where I know I can, after a couple of years, prove myself and show that I'm ready to be in charge of people and that I can. So that, in combination with getting my education, I did my master's degree while I was in command. It's all led me to leaving the Army, and that's where I'm at now.